going on? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
We just got back from an amazing trip to the Canadian Rockies where we saw a bunch of old favorite places and even some new locations that we were really thrilled to get to do. And if you've ever wanted to go to that area in Alberta, a little bit in British Columbia, to see like Lake Louise, Banff, Yoho National Park, Kananaskis Country, like all of that kind of stuff.
So awesome.
So please continue watching this video and find some awesome things that you want to do.
And come along with us as we take you on our latest Canadian Rockies adventure.
Well, the first thing we had to do to get ready for our adventure is we had to pack. And since we were going during a shoulder season, you know, that's when it's like a transitioning in between spring or summer and fall, or winter and spring, and like the temperatures will just go up and down like the whole time you're there. So you need to pack a ton of layers, and that's really important in shoulder seasons because there is such a variation in the weather.
Yeah, we had temperatures from 25 degrees Fahrenheit all the way to 65 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, huge changes throughout the day, and like those temperatures that he just gave were like within one day you would do that. So like I said, lots of layers. You've got to prepare for everything. But we loaded up with all those layers, and then we got a car to the airport, and we have global entry, TSA clear, all that kind of stuff. So our line getting through TSA and everything at the international terminal wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it's always longer than you want, right? Well, we got through all of that, and our flight had gotten delayed, not by a lot, but just a little bit. And we were able to go to one of the airport lounges there that are in the international terminal in Atlanta. And we sat there and we waited for
So nice to be able to do that.
our flight to come in through the delay. But that was nice and easy because we were able to just sit and relax and not have to worry about anything. And when the flight was ready to board, we just walked out of the lounge down to the flight. Super easy, but the flight was direct this time, which a lot of times from Atlanta, for whatever reason, it's not. But this time it was direct, which made things just a lot easier. So even with the delay, like we were able to get there relatively quickly. But by the time we got the rental car and everything in Calgary and made it through customs, which customs in Calgary is awesome. Like
so nice.
It and Tokyo are some of the best places to go through customs in because everybody's actually kind of friendly and the process is very efficient. But anyway, we ended up getting to the hotel at like 11 p.m. their time, so like 1 a.m. our time, and we were exhausted.
So we knew the next day we really just wanted to take things easy.
Yeah, we just wanted to like relax and enjoy the day. But before we could do that, we needed to get something to eat because I was starving. I hadn't eaten anything since that morning, and Heather hadn't eaten anything since the lounge at the Atlanta airport.
And the food was way too cheesy for us.
Yeah, way too cheesy for us. I did not want to do that to myself on a travel day, right? So anyway, I went downstairs, and the hotel we stayed at, which is the Kananaskis Mountain Lodge, has 3 really amazing restaurants in it. Like, we came to find out like how amazing they were through the course of the trip.
So good.
But I went down and picked the one that was literally closest to our room, and it was called Blacktail Bar and Restaurant.
It ended up being our favorite.
We got a hamburger or a cheeseburger and some fries, and I took it back up to our room to split with me and Heather. And when I say this hamburger was one of the best burgers I have had in my life, I am not speaking in hyperbole. Like,
yeah, look at us. We're burger connoisseurs.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're burger connoisseurs. We know what's going on. This burger
That's what I said.
is outstanding. Oh my gosh.
So good.
We filled ourselves with this amazing food and we hit the sack so we could be ready for the next day. The next morning we woke up early so we could get things like our parking passes and park passes all sorted, because when you're in Kananaskis Country and you're in Banff and all of that area, you have to have a pass for Kananaskis Country that you put, you know, they take the license plate of the car, even if it's a rental car, And then with Banff, your park pass, you stick on the windshield. And so we had to go buy those things immediately and have them just good to go so we wouldn't get any kind of tickets or fines or anything like that. Plus, it's better to just go ahead and buy for the week or 2 weeks or whatever you're there.
Yeah, just get it out of the way.
Because when you're trying to run up to Lake Louise at like 3 a.m. to see starlight and sunrise, you don't want to try to stop and
Yeah, definitely not.
get a pass then for the national park. So just do yourself a favor when you first get there, get all that stuff sorted, and that's what we
Just
did.
takes too much time, and sometimes they're closed and you have to do it later.
And once we did that, we obviously got some Tim Hortons because my wife loves Tim Hortons and I love
Yummy.
Timbits. Those little donuts are amazing.
Delish.
And then we walked around downtown Banff.
It's such a charming town to walk around in. And now that they made a chunk of Banff Avenue walking only, it's infinitely less hectic.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing they had done. They made this chunk, like he said, of Banff Avenue just completely pedestrian only. And it seems like it's a thing they only do in the summers, but it was so much better than like past years when we've been there, because on Banff Avenue, you're kind of just running back and forth the whole time. And it makes it so much easier to do that without having to worry about traffic.
And it's a lot easier to take photos.
Yeah, it does make it easier to take photos too, because everyone wants to get photos of the mountain running right down the middle of the road. And having it be pedestrian only obviously makes it a lot easier for you to do that. But that was really cool.
Very cool.
And I hope that they continue to do that.
Me too.
But while we walked around seeing the sights and everything, we also knew that we had to find my nieces, Lainey and Hadley, a moose, like a little stuffed moose.
Yeah, she made us do that. Like a lot.
Yeah. She, before we left, grabbed me and she said, "Uncle Brent, I need a moose." And I said, "Yes, ma'am," because how am I going to say no to that, right? So we went into, there's a store that we've gotten stuff for them at before when we've been there. It's called Cool as a Moose. And we got them these stuffed moose that are just the most plush things ever. It was
So freaking soft.
real good.
So good.
So we found the moose, checked that off.
And finding a moose for them was a lot easier than
Yeah.
finding a real one for Heather. Huh.
Finding stuffed moose is a lot easier than finding a real moose. Spoiler alert, we still didn't find Heather a real moose.
Nope.
That's
We'll have to take another
not a
trip.
thing that we're going to do anytime soon, apparently.
Guess we'll have to go back.
So even though we didn't find a moose, we had a wonderful day of going around Banff and seeing everything. I really wanted to see the facelift that they were doing on the buildings at Banff Avenue around where the Canada Goose store is, because it looked like they were updating them a lot, but it wasn't finished while we were there. But we walked around and explored the town and, just enjoyed ourselves. And eventually we had lunch at a wood fire pizza place called Uni. And oh my gosh, it was absolutely fantastic. They had this amazing kale salad. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, kale is so bitter, right? But this wasn't. The dressing on it was really good. It was some kind of a vinaigrette. And then they had just a bunch of great options for wood fire pizzas. So, we really, really enjoyed it. But that first day, that's kind of all we did was hang out and, explore downtown. And then eventually we just went right back to our hotel and took some time to relax with all the hotel has to offer, Because like I said, we had just had a huge day of traveling, and you're not really
up for a lot immediately after a day like that. But it was a nice, fun, relaxing day. Great way to start everything and get us ready for our next big adventure. Now, the next big trip we took was to just across the border in British Columbia in Yoho National Park to see a place called Emerald Lake. The last time we came, all the locals kept saying, "You've got to see Emerald Lake." Yeah, they, everyone the last time we were there mentioned that you have to see Emerald Lake, and we really wanted to, but it was just one of those things where we had a bunch of other stuff on our list of things to do, and we just ran out of time. So this time we made it one of our priorities, and we got up really early and made the multi-hour trip up past Lake Louise and then across over from Alberta into BC to Yoho National Park to Emerald Lake and the Emerald Lake Lodge. And oh my gosh. This place is gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely amazing, like incredible. And it's so much bigger than you think from looking at pictures on Google or Instagram or whatever. The lake is huge. If you like history, there are a lot of great signs along the trail to read about the area and learn its history. Yeah, and we were walking around this loop trail on this lake, reading all these cool like history signs and stuff. And when we were almost exactly halfway through, we saw these storm clouds rolling in. Now, these storm clouds were massive, and we were looking at them, and all of a sudden they start dumping snow on all the mountains in the distance, right? And like we knew it was headed our way because you could just see a line of snow forming on these mountains as it got closer and closer and closer. So the last half of the loop, we picked up our speed so we wouldn't get like rained on or snowed on, because we didn't know kind of what it would be by the time it got down to the lake. And it started raining on us, freezing rain, right before we crossed the bridge headed back to parking. Yeah, it was like a freezing rain and sleet, and we got in the car and we were cold and wet, and Heather and I knew that we really needed something warm and filling to just make us feel whole again, right? So the day before, when we were exploring around Banff, we saw a Korean restaurant. So Heather checked to make sure that they served one of our favorite dishes, hot stone bibimbap. So we looked it up on their menu, and they served hot stone bibimbap, and it was exactly what we needed. Oh my gosh, it was this little tucked away Korean restaurant, right? Which is kind of perfect. And we just sat there and enjoyed the warm food and the hot tea and just really filled ourselves up and got really, really warm again. And man, that was just such a great little experience. After filling our stomachs and our souls with that hot stone bibimbap, we went back to the Kananaskis Mountain Lodge, and we really wanted to do some hiking around there because there's just tons of trails that just branch off from the hotel. But my dogs were barking after that morning hike and having to like basically run the last little bit to stay out of as much of the sleet and rain as we could. So I said, yeah, I'm going, but I'm going in slides. And I put on, like I had a nice pair of slides with me, and I put them on, and we hiked all the trails all around the hotel and did all the viewpoints. And Heather was teasing me the whole time because she's like, you're the only person I know in the world that would put on a pair of Gucci slides to go for a hike. But darn it, I bought them. I'm going to use them however the heck I want to, right? So we did all that hiking, and then
After that, it was dinner time.
yes, it was dinner time, obviously. For whatever reason, this trip was very food-centric, but we enjoyed it. So we headed to our favorite restaurant there, the Blacktail restaurant, and we got some, again, amazing food. They did not disappoint once on this trip food-wise. And we had a Canadian staple that you have to have if you're there, poutine, obviously. And if you don't know what poutine is, it's fries, gravy, and cheese. And how a Southern chef didn't come up with that, and it was Canadians, is beyond me. And shame on you, Southern cooks, because you should have come up with that. We fry everything and use gravy all the time. You couldn't think of that one, but whatever, it's amazing, eat it. So the next big thing that we did that we didn't have time for the last time was,
The Banff gondola.
yeah, the Banff gondola. I was so stoked to do this. Like, we literally tried to do it, but the tickets were all sold out the last time. And you take a gondola ride from the bottom of Sulphur Mountain all the way to the top. And I was so stoked to do this, but you know, I didn't want to push Heather or anything because it's her vacation too. And I just wanted to get up that morning and go and go do this because I was absolutely stoked. But I just tried to play it like real cool. And we, you know, leisurely got up and went to Tim Hortons and then made our way to Banff and then to the gondola. And then we bought tickets and the line moved super quick and we were headed up the mountain.
On the way up, the views are amazing.
They are incredible. Like, you're going up this mountain is so steep. And there's also a hiking trail that you can take, but oh my gosh, looking at it, like I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself. But the views as you're going up the gondola are amazing. And also, I've done a lot of skiing and snowboarding in my life, and this is the quietest gondola I've ever been on. There's none of those usual squeaks or groans, or even when it goes over the pillar with the things that pull the ropes along, just silence. It was so peaceful. It felt like you were just floating up the hill. Then you get to the top and you hop off the gondola and the doors open on this building and you're treated to this gigantic panorama of Bow Valley and the river running through, and Banff just nestled right there in the middle of it all. And it's just amazing views that can truly only be appreciated in the few areas around the world that have such clean, crisp, clear air. There's no haziness, there's no particulate, like it's just amazing and beautiful and views for days.
It's an unreal view. Absolutely worth the admission.
Completely agree. It was absolutely worth the admission. And then once you get up there, there's a lot of really smart places for you to hang out and enjoy those views, right? So they have stuff inside the building where you can get drinks and coffee and like whatever you want. And then outside they have little fires set up all around the viewing platform. And so you can cuddle around the fire with seats and everything and just be nice and relaxed and enjoy your time. And that makes it really, really cool. But they also have like these giant clear igloos. So if it's really cold, windy, or snowy, you can get inside those and still see and enjoy being warmed by a fire while you're viewing out over these huge Canadian mountain ranges. So cool.
To see sights, it's easy to spend a few hours up there.
For sure. And if you want to eat, you need to add another hour or so there for that, because they have a couple of really great restaurants there.
Sky Bistro was amazing.
Yeah, it definitely deserves all the awards that it has. I mean, you walk into this place, it's impeccably decorated and designed. There are sweeping views of like the whole valley that you're looking at, and the food is absolutely fantastic. It really is a place that has excellent food and world-class views. So I highly recommend it. Definitely try out Sky Bistro if you're there. But yeah, after we looked around and enjoy our time on top of the mountain.
After we ate, we headed down the mountain.
Yep, and we went to the Bow Valley River to see Bow Valley Falls.
I'm just still so shocked at how quiet it is. I don't know why.
I know, this is the quietest gondola ever.
It really is. It's kind of freaky.
So what'd you think?
It's amazing.
Yeah. We definitely got up there at the right time because all the snow's disappeared now already.
Up there with the crew.
Yeah. And Bow Valley Falls is right there by the Fairmont Banff Hotel. It's the hotel that looks like a castle that you see in all the pictures. Really nice little area to hang out.
And you locked your keys in the trunk of the car like a big old dummy.
Yeah, I was getting the camera lens out of the trunk and set the keys down and locked the keys in the trunk. It put a little bit of damper on enjoying the falls, but we did get to spend a lot of time there at the falls and the golf course and all that stuff while we were waiting on the guy from Stronghold Locksmith to come let me into my car that I locked us out of.
Luckily, he was able to fix your mistakes super quick.
Yeah, I'm very lucky he was able to fix that so quickly. And it's really a good thing too, because the next day was our big day.
Oh,
we
yeah,
were
the big
going
climb.
to head to Lake Louise and do our favorite hike, which is up the mountain behind Lake Louise to Lake Agnes and the Lake Agnes Tea House. So I know one of the biggest draws to the Banff area is Lake Moraine and Lake Louise. If you want to get there and experience it without a ton of people, or even if you just want to get in the parking lot without having to take shuttle buses up to the lake, the key is getting there super early. So we got up and left at 3 a.m. and drove to Lake Louise.
We got there and we were able to get some amazing shots of the stars and the sunrise.
And after sunrise came and we had gotten all those awesome like starlight pictures and the sunrise pictures and time lapses and everything, we set off on our hike up Mount St. Piran to Lake Louise. I knew this was going to be a tough hike because I am not in anywhere close to as good of a shape I was pre-pandemic, and this is like the first huge thing I've done after, like other than little local like walks and hikes and stuff. So I knew this was going to be tough, but I also knew I was stubborn enough that it would definitely happen. It would just take me longer than I was used to. And the whole experience of climbing up this mountain and just seeing like all these sights, like there's all these cool little like peaks back at the lake, or like you'll come around a corner and you can just see across the valley to all the like little towns dotting through the valley, is what makes this hike so amazing. But then you walk up, you're almost to the top, you get to Mirror Lake and you see like this cool lake that's perfectly still and it's reflecting the giant Beehive Mountain in the background in the lake. And you walk up the last little stretch, there's a waterfall and then a sheer rock cliff, and you climb up the stairs and you come over the top and you crest the top and you see this gorgeous lake that is Lake Agnes. right corner, there's just a little tea house that's been there for years and years and years and years, and they have to hike all their provisions up. You're rewarded by this hot climb with just a little bit of like food to warm you and tea to just let you sit and relax and take in just all the incredible stuff that's around you.
It's not Michelin star dining by any stretch, but the experience is just
very
so
true.
cool.
I mean, obviously don't go up there expecting fine dining. It's not that, but it's filling, it's flavorful, and the experience alone makes it one of my all-time favorite hikes. One of my other favorites that kind of put it in perspective is the Tian Shan Mountains in Western China. Being able to hike up to the summit of those and then see out over everything is a really incredible experience. And that's like the top of like mountaintops I've been to. And this is easily a close second, maybe the top. It just kind of depends on the day, but super cool. It's something that I know every time that we go, we're definitely gonna do. And you guys should all check it out too. But because of that whole experience, I know that will always be one of mine and Heather's favorite hikes and one of our favorite memories. Like, we just absolutely have adored every time we've done that together, and we love doing it. And I'm so happy that we get to do it. And then we, enjoyed our time, leisurely made our way down the mountain. And I knew on the way out, we had to stop at a Parks Canada place to get my littlest sister, Deidre, present. She is absolutely obsessed with Buc-ee's.
She's obsessed.
And I thought it would be fun to get her something with the Parks Canada logo on it, since it's also a beaver. So we found her a shirt with just a giant Parks Canada logo on it and got that for her. And then we just leisurely made our way back towards Banff and then Canmore, and then finally back to our hotel at the Kananaskis Mountain Lodge, where we tried the second of the 3 restaurants called Forte. And it's an Italian restaurant, and they also have incredible pizzas and salads and stuff there. But oh my gosh, none of the food missed on this trip. Finally, we spent our last non-travel day exploring all around Kananaskis Country.
We saw Troll Falls, the Upper Falls, and Marmot Falls.
Yeah, and all of those waterfalls are amazing. And they're all in like a 2-mile stretch of one another, and they're huge. Like, Marmot Falls is probably the smallest, and there's a little overhang where the fall comes off, and you can walk behind the waterfalls. And they're just, like, it's the shortest hike I've ever been on to see so many spectacular waterfalls. Really, really cool. Then we went for a drive through, like, deeper into Kananaskis Country, where all the wild animals are supposed to be, trying to find a moose for Heather.
But like we said, no moose.
Yeah, no moose. But we did find a really awesome suspension bridge and a remote lake that the reflections on were just absolutely perfect. I mean, when you think of like a lake just tucked in the middle of the mountains, reflecting the mountain range onto it, this thing is the ideal of it. But we had such a wonderful afternoon doing all of that.
enjoying all of that all afternoon long, we went back to the Kananaskis Mountain Lodge and had a celebratory anniversary dinner at our favorite place, and then topped it all off by doing the s'mores that they have every night. So we went out by the bonfire. They set up the bonfire for us and rolled out the cart with all the accoutrement to make s'mores. And we got warm drinks and melty s'mores and just had a wonderful evening, just capping off this incredible trip. Then, after we'd had our fill of fun and laughter and chocolatey delicious s'mores, we turned in ready for a long day of travel back home.
Well, that's been our trip to Banff, Kananaskis, Canmore, Lake Louise, and all the other surrounding areas there in the Canadian Rockies. I hope you all were able to see some of the awesome stuff we did, and it helped you plan your own trip, or, you know, just let you live vicariously through us if you can't take off to go. But this is a trip that I highly recommend, and you should definitely put it on your bucket list.
We hope you enjoyed hearing about it and seeing some of it.
Yeah, we absolutely hope you enjoyed hearing and seeing about it. And if you have any questions for us, please let us know in the comments below. And we really encourage you to visit these amazing places for yourself, because it really is so awesome.
But remember, when you visit, be courteous, responsible, and a conscientious visitor.
Exactly. And we hope to see you out there. Bye.
Bye.
Feelings.